a fucking mess. Oh yes, this country is a mess. We could put some music, I think will go pretty well with this. Let's see if I can get the stream running well. Let me try this here. Poor Rachel Reeves, eh? Okay, sound is good. Looks like right. So the government is a mess, and have been a mess for a long time. Well, just 1 year, to be fair to Labour. The Tories can't really talk, so I'll leave them out of this. And right now, there's only so much that their party can do when it comes to, well, it's the Tories' fault. It's like, well, yeah, but there's only one problem with that. We don't buy your excuses anymore. We get it, Tories sucked, but guys, you have just been, well, dire. Pretty poor. And you can blame the Chancellor for that, of course, but the buck stops with the Prime Minister. I'm going to get to what's her name, the one at Sky News, Sophie Ridge said in a tweet. I'll get to that later on. Because I think it just shows you what we're dealing with. If you can recall, not too far back, let's say, oh, I don't know, when Boris Johnson was Prime Minister, then we had Liz Truss for about 2 seconds, then we had, what else do we have in there? Got losing track, Rishi Sunak. There wasn't much sympathy for Liz Truss, and there was a lot of hate towards her. Regardless of whether people think that's right or wrong, makes no difference. The media were more than happy to turn the screws in. Every time. They had opportunity, they did it. And I think it's about time we completely ignore the media. They always do this. They always raise people up to the heavens, and then they won't hesitate to bring them down. Because I'm not a fan of Keir Starmer, I'm not a fan of Rachel Reeves. And I think they've been a little bit slow on this, because for the first time they're getting a real taste of what it's like when the media find the opportunity to screw you over. They gave you your honeymoon and they said, that's enough. We want this guy out because we could talk about another leader potentially for Labour, or we want another general election because we need ratings to go up. Everything's going badly in this country. But in the end, it's our fault. We voted these morons in. Well, I didn't. I didn't actually vote in the election, but that's my problem. And now you have these people online, these typical journalists. I mean, I've seen some of these tweets, I couldn't stop laughing at them. They were actually pretty funny. The one that made me laugh the most, there's probably more funny ones out there because I haven't seen that many, but I've come across quite a few, was that guy at Talk TV. And he tweeted out, he said 2 hours ago, this is Mike Graham, he says, every political pundit now catching up with me that Keir Starmer has done. I knew he wouldn't last the pace, I knew it before anyone else. Stick with Talk TV for the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Yeah, because no one at Talk TV has ever lied. At all. Never, apparently. Because Mike Graham was the only one that said Starmer wouldn't last this long. No one else on this planet said it, apparently, except him. And all these political pundits, he has to remember as well, political pundits, I don't even know what the hell that is. You may have an expertise in geopolitics, but you have to have actually read some books first before you can call yourself an expert in geopolitics. So these political pundits are just people who put hats on, go on TV and give their opinion. I could be classed as a political pundit as well, for my opinions, for what I think might happen, and guess other things. By the way, that video of Keir Starmer on the right is when he came out of the White House for a second, not White House, when he came out number 10, I think after what happened in House of Parliament. So Rachel Reeves on the left, she was crying or tearing up. And there is actually a video of this, or a short video of this. And if you go back a little bit here, let me get the thing on the screen actually, it'll actually help you can see it. And if we get rid of her, I'm afraid, and the video source there. So we'll go full screen. This is Keir Starmer speaking, and Rachel Reeves on the bottom right corner of the picture, and to her right is the I think the Education Secretary. So it's she's in the blue jacket or black jacket. I can't really tell from here. Anyway, let's play it.
Rail staff work incredibly hard to keep our country running and keep people safe, and the abuse and assault on staff is utterly unacceptable. And we're taking measures to make sure they are safer. We want to encourage, Mr. Speaker, the use of body-worn cameras, which have been proven to reduce violence against staff by up to 47%. And may I take this opportunity to thank our outstanding British Transport Police for everything that they do to support staff and passengers.
I'm on mute there, apologies. I was just about to say there that first thing I noticed that her eyes are directly at him all the time. It's not unusual, and you can see Angela on the left-hand side, who does, from time to time shift their eye contact. Well, I can't really tell. One eye is looking down here, the one on the left is looking to the other side. But that being said, she is constantly looking at Keir Starmer throughout the entire time. Now, I'm not sure if Lisa Nandy takes note of what's happening over there. You can see her eyes pointing over there. Most people don't know what's actually going on. In fact, maybe this guy on the top left-hand corner does. And you've got someone on their phone or something like that, and no one's overlooking. It's looking very uncomfortable for them. Very uncomfortable. Even Yvette Cooper looks a bit down. And it's probably because of the whole meeting they had when it came to this actual welfare bill, which wasn't very popular, and it's finally caught up with them that you cannot go out there and lie to people, right? The Tories got away with it for quite some time, and that was the end of that. So, regardless of what people think about Rachel Reeves, the guy who's in charge, right, is this guy here in the middle. I mean, people say she was grieving. If she was grieving, she wouldn't be there. She would never have been there if she lost a member of her family. This is not grieving what she's doing here. It's definitely not acting. So I'll just go back and play without the sounds. I can't stand the guy's voice, to be honest with you. They all look uncomfortable. She looks alright because probably she wants the job. So it could only be maybe something that happened just before you came out and started talking. I can't imagine this was 2 days ago, 3 days ago. I highly doubt that. I highly doubt it. So it was very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. Now people might think, do I have sympathy? I don't. I have zero sympathy with politicians. Every single one of them. I don't care if they're reforming the UK for that matter. I have zero sympathy for any of them. Let me give you a couple of reasons. I can give you like a million reasons, literally. I can sit here for hours and tell you why I despise these politicians and why I have zero sympathy for them. Right? And that is Because number one, they get paid pretty well. They're comfortable. Stop telling me about pressures in life. You want pressures in life? Go and do yourself a job and work for the entire overtime. Don't get paid for overtime. Get a shitty pension. They get no pay rise. Pay high taxes. Try and do that job. Meanwhile, these politicians get a cushy pension. So it doesn't matter what happens to them now. It doesn't matter what happens to them now. They're covered when they retire. And they can retire early if they want to. We're not. It's not even close. It doesn't work out for us at all. And I'm sorry. Yes. You can have your sympathy for Rachel Reeves. Yes. Yeah, sympathy for those who try really hard and doesn't work out. But why is in the private sector, if you're a salesperson, you don't reach those targets, you're out of a job. You have to go look for another one. Good luck trying to find a job in this current environment, this current climate. You're stuffed. These MPs almost guaranteed 5 years at least in a job. You try and work it at one company for 5 years at least. See the way it is right now in the private sector. I'm not blaming Labour for that. Then he had, what's her name, Sophie Ridge come out with this tweet of hers. Couldn't believe when I read it. I stopped reading when she mentioned Ed Miliband's name. I stopped reading after this. She says, so Sophie Ridge works at Sky News. She's an anchor on Sky News. I thought a lot about whether it's the right thing to talk about Rachel Reeves crying at PMQs. I don't think you did, because this tweet came out not too long after that anyway. Because crying is not something we should be ashamed of, or something we should be judged for. Well, no, me having no sympathy for her has nothing to do with the fact that she's crying. It's nothing to do with that. Then she says this, the third paragraph, I should say. Because crying is something that's associated with women, and in particular this misogynic idea that women are too weak and too emotional to be able to hack difficult jobs, like being Chancellor. Oh really? Now you're bringing misogyny into it now, are you, Miss Ridge? Or Mrs. Ridge, whatever your title is, whatever your pronoun is. Not that you care about that stuff. Misogyny, is that how far we're going to go now? I knew this would happen. Which means you are giving protection to one of the most powerful people in the UK who takes care of our finances and calling misogyny when we have to criticise her. Because poor Rachel Reeves is a woman. This has got nothing to do with equality. Because if they wanted equality, they would not bring this up. At all. Then she goes on. Remember, of course, Rachel Reeves is the first female Chancellor as well. It's got nothing to do with it. And because on a human level I feel sorry for her. I've cried at work, I'm sure lots of us have. And the Chancellor doesn't have the luxury of being able to hide in the toilets or slope off early. The Chancellor doesn't have the luxury of being able to hide in the toilets or slope off early. Okay. Because she's a member of the public. She represents us. And her job's to being in Parliament. So that's not our problem. But people will talk about what happened in PMQs because when it comes to politics, visual images stick. This part I didn't like. So forget all the other things I've just said now. I remember that image of Rishi Sunak announcing an election in pouring rain, an image he never really recovered from. What the hell are you talking about never recover from? Do you not see the ratings of the Tory party before the election was called? How is he ever going to recover after he, along with Johnson, crippled our economy because Parliament wanted to shut down the country and have these stupid restrictions? We have never recovered from that. COVID destroyed our economy. It destroyed so many lives. It killed people. And some had died, had nothing to do with COVID. putting us even more in debt. Inflation through the roof. You forget all that? All the conference letters falling off behind Theresa May. Who gives a flying you know what about that? None of us care about that stuff, and this is the part that really annoyed me. Or Ed Miliband and the bacon sandwich. People don't remember his tax proposals, but my gosh, they won't forget that bacon sandwich. She has the nerve to say that. As a member of the media. Never mind this idiot. That's right, Sophie Ridge, the idiot. Along with all these other clowns in the media. You can add Mike Graham to that list as well. You guys don't stop talking about it. I didn't know anything about the sandwich when it happened. I only knew about it because you guys reported it, and you talked about it non-stop. It's you, the media, make it worse. You're making it worse for Rachel Reeves. You can talk about anything you want. You can talk about anything you want. The country is in a toilet. And you want to talk about the Chancellor crying in Parliament? My God. These people are insufferable. Yes, my God. I mean, I was always going to vote for Labour. But my word, Rachel Reeves crying, I'm done with them. No one ever says that. No one. No one ever said, you know what, the way Miliband ate that bacon sandwich, I'm not sure if it was bacon sandwich to be honest, but let's say it's bacon sandwich. What the hell he was eating? My God, I've got to vote for the Tories in this one. All those Labour hardcore supporters out there were thinking that. It was actually Nick Clegg that caused a shock more than anything else in that election in 2010. Well, sorry, 2015. Sorry, not Nick Clegg, sorry. 2015. What, 2015? Yeah, 2015 it was. When the Liberal Democrats completely collapsed after their coalition with the Tory party. And he still couldn't win. I just can't believe it sometimes with these people. You went after Boris Johnson over bloody cake. Yes, he was a liar, a serial liar, a compulsive liar, whatever you want to describe him. Yes, he was a moron and a cheat. But you guys made non-stop big deal about cake. It's okay to attack him over that. The media making more of a bigger deal. I'm going to tell it like it is. Making more bigger deal out of this woman crying than they've done the grooming gangs, where little young girls were being raped, molested, God knows what else. This woman's going to become one of the richest people in the country, and you want us to have sympathy for her because she's crying because someone might have said something mean to her beforehand. We have no clue what actually happened, by the way. Let's see if there's any update on this, because I don't think there is one. So if you go to Sky News website, let me put it this way to you. So P. Diddy's trial is #1 headline in the Sky News website. Starmer, Reeves, some guy pleading guilty to murdering 4 University of Idaho students, and Thursday's national newspaper front pages. Further down is something about grooming gangs, Princess of Wales, MPs vote to prescribe Palestinian Action as a terrorist organisation, and prosecutors consider more charges against Lucy Letby, who apparently can't stop killing babies. So #10 said Rachel was going nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Matt Hancock, one of the worst human beings on the planet, didn't apologise, had no empathy at all when it came to COVID. He's one of the worst human beings on the planet, there's no question about it. Yes, he's worse than Starmer and Reeves put together. I'll come out and say it. I just want the politicians to be honest and come out and say, we're broke. We're broke as a country. We're done. But no one will come out and say it. I'm really angry about that. Be honest about it, guys. Just be honest. Jeez. So Cheryl Jacobs, who I think does I'll post some opinion pieces on the Daily Telegraph. She sent in a tweet, all hell breaking loose in the Labour Party this evening, which descended into civil war. Starmer allies are spoken to are volcanic, with rage over the welfare rebellion and the fallout, not least today's dramatic scenes of Rachel Reeves in the comments. One described their fellow party members as a bunch of unserious people who do not understand that when you spend money, you have to pay for it. Each one of them should have "I vote for tax rises" plastered on the leaflets at the next election. Another told me that many of those who revolted are now in shock at the damage they have caused. Quote, hopefully it'll make them grow up very fucking quickly. It's a giant mess. And look what they're doing in America under Trump. They decided to increase spending and lower your taxes. Yep, it'll look good for a short amount of time. Watch out for the inflation numbers to pick up again. And job numbers have dropped down under Trump. They're a real bad spot right now, America. They can recover, of course. They're in a bad spot. The whole world is in bad shape. In the end, the buck stops with the Prime Minister. There's no question about it. He put Rachel Reeves in charge. He has to take responsibility for that. He's not backing away from this, regardless of what happened with her, tearing up. Okay, he stuck to his guns, fair enough. That being said, that was a real bizarre situation, because considering yeah, the one side. Let me get the video up again, actually. Let's see if I can get it on the screen again. Not an entire video, just I think I've got it here, actually. So, here we go. Angela Rain on one side, who current friend doesn't give a flying you-know-what about her on the right. I mean, it was just such a bizarre situation. We haven't seen anything like this really in Parliament. Because actually, well, to be fair, she did look over her eyes. You can see that she looked over once. But the way he's rambling on and she's crying. There we are. Because let's face it though, even if she wasn't crying and her face looked like that, where stream looks on, they would have still talked about her. So, oh, look at her eyes, look at the bags on her eyes, right? They'd come out and said this. So that looks like either, there can only be one or two things. She put any makeup on, and yes, blokes put makeup on too. This guy in the middle does too as well, not me. Keir Starmer does. Or she had a very unpleasant event just before they went out to inside House of Commons. There's going to be only two reasons. Now, if you were to look at YouGov polling, I'm not going to look at YouGov polling all the time, but let's see if I can find the YouGov latest poll. Because, Labour are not, they're doing badly, but not as bad as making out to be. And I'm talking about the actual polls when it comes to voting intention. Now, when it comes to whether you approve them or not, they're doing very badly. Very badly. So voting intention, Reform have reached 30%. They're now on, 26%. Labour on 24%. The Tories kind of stagnate at 17%. Lib Dems are on 15, I think, or 16. The Greens are on 10, which is pretty impressive for them. They've been about start of the year at 8%, now they're 10%. Because only 2%, but for the Green Party, it's not too bad. SNP are just staying exactly where they were at 3%. Bear in mind they run in Scotland. So get the percentage for... Okay, Lib Dems are on 16%. Okay. So as of now, we're heading for Parliament. Now, the election itself is not till... when is it? Well, not till 2029. So if you go look at this here, right? Probably can't see it too on the screen. I'm going to have to zoom in. In October, actually, that's the Tories. So I forget that. So the Tories at one point were at 72%. You can see those fluctuations over the years, right? Always fluctuations. They weren't really super popular, but as you can see, guys, even when the Tories are not doing very well, they still won the election. 2017 was a unique opportunity because Labour were on the hills and the Tories went into a coalition or some sort of agreement with the DM. I forgot what they're calling that. What are they called again? DUP, I think, isn't it? Now you can see that again. This is more this part here. If you think about it. So in 2019, this is the year where we had Parliament messing about Brexit. Then Johnson came in. He got to December, the general election. See, things are changing very quickly in his favour. At one point, in May 2022, look at that. In April, 44% approval, 35% disapprove. And that was during the early days of COVID. But the media, we don't like that, came in and just completely went after the Tories. Then it dipped down again, thinking there might be a chance here. April 2021. But unfortunately, despite the media doing a great job of going after Johnson, he doesn't help himself. They changed a bunch of prime ministers. Then he gets to last year for the general election. This is not Rishi Sunak's fault. That's just the Tory party as a whole. Then, of course, we go back to square one, right? So they start from level, and just since then they've been going up and down, a little bit up, a bit down, but again up and up, and at 66%. This is what they should worry about, Labour, more than anything else. This climbs up to this level here. It may well do that. They have to think about what they have to do next in terms of either calling the election or telling Keir Starmer to step down. Do I think they'll tell him to step down? No, he might resign himself. So, ladies and gentlemen, we could go on for long with this, but I think I've kind of just summed it up really well. Just to sum it up, just to wrap things up. If people have seen before, I don't really care about that. You can do, I can understand why. This should not be, the story. Because how many times has the PM got away with lying? And one of the things that came up regarding Rachel Reeves crying was because before they came out and started, when they were prepared to do a Q&A or something like that, or during the time when she was answering questions, Lindsay Hoyle, the Speaker of the Commons, who I'm starting to really have dislike to because he should be calling out the Prime Minister who doesn't answer the questions and starts lying. That's his job, by the way. Apparently, I said to Rachel Reeves, you will keep your answers a little bit shorter. You're taking too long answering questions. And it's not nice to be lectured like that because it's embarrassing. Right? Man or woman, it's embarrassing. It would upset you a little bit. It wouldn't make it necessary to cry, but it is a little bit upsetting. Very uncomfortable. Maybe she couldn't control emotions at that point. Perhaps that's the reason for it. But Starmer is not going to get rid of her. And if he does, in my opinion, that's political suicide. Because you just backed her backed her so many times during this period of turmoil. And you see there when he comes out and almost trips up on the steps. Oh, I shouldn't laugh. It's not funny. I'm glad he didn't fall because that would have been very bad. This kind of sums up. He's clearly rattled. To be fair, during the PMQ, he's not actually that rattled at all. He lies, but he does well when he lies. He's a lawyer. He's been a lawyer, of course, before in his previous work. Rachel Reeves is crying. She's the Chancellor. That projects a bad image. Are we doing a good job? Bad job? Are we making people poorer? This all looks bad. Image-wise, it looks terrible. But in the end, people are not going to look at this and think, well, I kind of feel sorry for her. Let's give her another chance. People out there are thinking, how am I going to put food on the table? Because these people can still put food on the table. Now, there's talk of these guys go after people's pensions even more now, and go after people's savings as well. I mean, do these people really want to be hated more than the Tories? Sheesh. Tell you, they're doing a great job of it. Great job. Well, I see now a tweet saying, Starmer's finished, no amount of time, congratulations, pay yourself on the back if he resigns, then, you can do this and that. The chances of him going anytime soon are very small, maybe next year. And people are suggesting or predicting that during the local elections in Wales and Scotland and other parts of England, that if they do badly as they did in the last elections we had, which were earlier this year, that'll be it. Because they will lose too many council seats. And if people a year after this farce that we're seeing right now, I'm not going to trust them anymore. So, yeah, doesn't look good for Labour. And by the way, if Reform UK weren't there, don't think for 1 second that the Tories would be doing better. Because I think they'll probably be in level numbers right now in terms of the polls. It'll be like matching Labour. Because people don't trust him either. It's actually quite refreshing to have a different party now out there. So we'll see how it unfolds. We'll keep an eye on it. I try to go live as much as I can. It's difficult because I've got my own life, like most people out there. But let the media have their fun with this, because it's just something else for them to talk about, because apparently nothing else to do. And before I wrap up the stream, I'm going to play just one song, and then the stream will end, and that'll be it. So, oh, by the way, my account on Twitter is, or it's called X now, of course, is UKRRUS News. UKRRUS News. Okay, here we go.
Cherry blossom in the market square. Do you remember? I thought it was confetti in her hair. By the way, didn't I break your heart? Please excuse me, I never meant to break your heart. So sorry, but you broke mine. Katie, is it too late to say I'm sorry? And Katie, could we get it together again? I just can't go on pretending that it came to a natural end. Katie, oh, I never thought I'd miss you. And Katie, I thought that we'd always be friends. We said our love would last forever. So how did it come to this bitter end? Do you remember barefoot on the lawn with shooting stars? Do you remember loving on the floor in Belsize Park? Do you remember dancing in stilettos in the snow? Do you remember you never understood I had to go? By the way, didn't I break your heart? Please excuse me, I never meant to break your heart. So sorry, I'm never meant to break your heart, but you broke mine.